Hello. Great. We're live. Great to hear from you, Stephen. Welcome back to the fold. As always, you're always part of the fold, aren't you? This week is a really exciting one. I'm going to be sharing with you the cactus flower. So, I have been experimenting quite a bit recently, loving the experimenting. I'm originally a scientist, so I have to say I love a practical side and also that feeling of discovery that you just don't know what's going to happen. Hello, Eric. Thank you so much for your kind messages too. And yeah, so I just love how you never know what's going to happen. That feeling of discovery. Hi, Eric. There's always that delay, isn't there? And yeah, and just seeing what happens. So I've been taking a slightly almost a carefree attitude. Hello, Deborah. Almost like the virus itself, just changing, doing new things, just as it does, and seeing what happens. So deliberately trying new folds, seeing what would happen, and just yeah, not even having to plan it and actually rather enjoying that. So, hello, Alison. Welcome, Penny. So lovely to have you here. We were a little bit bombed last week, weren't we? So, if that happens again, if that person comes along again, I will try and act quicker. I should be able to block them, but let's see. There's a lot of multitasking when you're running, folding, trying to interact with people, and I don't want to instantly get rid of someone. But if someone's sending that many messages, not being kind, then I'm afraid they're not welcome. So we do our best, I think, on the internet to make sure that we encourage kindness. You have to try to be your own bouncer, don't you? It's a little bit of a hard job, but it's to be expected, sadly. So I'm not altogether unfamiliar with these things, and I'm just amazed actually how nice people are. But it does involve that good etiquette. So if anyone's not being kind, that you have to do your best to try and get rid of that for everyone's sake, actually, so that things stay safe and nice and kind and gentle, which is exactly what I'm offering. So yeah, so the cactus flowers, thank you, Eric. We do keep positive. It's the way to be. And so last week, or Stephen, you may have been catching up, I'm sure you have been. I was sharing this very simple fold, but I find just so delightful to make a little bud. And it's kind of completely up to you how many little units you make and therefore the shape. I just love even, look at that, isn't it lovely inside? I mean, it's just such a simple joy, but I guess it's the physics and the maths of how it works. You don't have to understand that, but you can just enjoy and appreciate how if you put little structures together, lovely little shapes form. So this is really strong, just three. Three is the big building unit, isn't it? And again, I've only learnt these things through doing things, through practical experience. I just love even the edge of that. Isn't it a lovely shape? So that's simple, and we'll be doing that again, actually. So you can either build a flower from, actually, it's completely up to you. You can try whatever. I'm not dictating here. So this is the centre of the bud, which could be a 3. Hello, Marnie. No problem. Or here's a bud which has got 5, which is also a lovely shape. I'm thinking of the shape of real flowers and buds. Okay, it's lovely inside. Isn't that gorgeous? So we'll start with a little bud. And then the mass of life. I love that. I love it. Absolutely. So we'll start with a little bud, and then I'll show you how to build on the petals. Now, I am giving myself a hard task because, of course, I am doing my best to avoid glue, and none of this involves glue. But you'll find it can come apart again as a result. So, but I'll show you the principle. So here's one, but it is a little bit of a gentle balancing act. So, and for most of all, it looks like a cactus flower. So look at the inside. So there's the bud. Oh, thank you. And then you'll see that each side, a sort of petal tucks in at one side and then tucks into the next one. So that's kind of the principle. And as I said, if you want to make it more solid and more safe and stronger, obviously you can use glue. It's completely up to you. Keep it as a balancing act or not. and obviously you can do a lot more if you do add glue. Actually, do have a look. Absolutely thrilled. Honey, who sends her very best wishes, has oh sorry, you can't fold today, Eric, has showed me some amazing kind of evolutions of this that she's been doing, and so she's called it Trinity Bloom, which is beautiful. So it does involve a bit of glue, but it's really wonderful. So that looks absolutely amazing, and has so kindly made a film of how to do it. So I've uploaded that with her blessings on my channel as well. So if you wanted to have a go at that as well, please do. And I think just encouraging that creativity, that you can, these are all just starting points. You can make it your own. So also actually with the same unit, I'll do this another week. Yay. A crown. This has gone down quite well. Again, this is not any glue, but if you want it more solid, you might want to use glue, but it does work. So I will show you another time how to make. So it's kind of again inspired by petals and leaves, and so it feels like a little touch of nature as a crown. I'll do that another week because quite a lot of people are thinking, oh, I'd love to do that. So also next week, I'm excited. Hello, Wendy, welcome. Next week, I will share with you something else that I found. Again, I've no idea whether others have found it, but I'm just taking this as my own little origami journey. I'm purely experimenting myself with paper, not looking at others and seeing what happens. It's rather exciting. And this one I've called a square knot because it is really nice and strong. Like this one will not fall apart, whereas the others, they've got that balance. So yeah, that's it front and back. And you can add a little kind of a slotting structure and sort of start putting them together. If you have lots, you may need to glue. And so here's bigger ones. Yeah, Celtic knot. Yeah, I really like this. I've built up stars, all sorts of things with it. So that'll be next week. So I'm quite excited about that. There's just something really pleasing, isn't there, about that shape? So it's like this all just fits together. Yeah, nice record. Also, recently, sorry, I'm just doing a bit of a show and tell first of all. I'd like to chat for a bit. I've also, through again just experimenting from Simple Fold, found a really nice star. Again, it's really strong. I've called this the strong star. And I've made the lovely traditional star out of a pentagon, which is brilliant. This happens to obviously to be another star, but it's really nice because you can make it from different bits. And I started again the idea of like a virus adding new folds, just testing what works. So these are all sorts of variants with this. Yes. Starmani. Is this one that you've come across then, Eric? Because it's going to happen. I think it's like sailing and finding new little islands. People will find them because they're there, because it's actually about something that's physical in nature. So all sorts of things there. So things I can share in coming weeks. Excellent. So I guess we should get started, shouldn't we? I have really chatted today. Right. So grab yourself some paper. You might, for this actually, you might want to do the inside of one colour and the outside in a different colour. So I will show you with white, just because it's actually surprisingly good to show, I think, for demonstrating and just for access, to know that you don't need special paper to make something special. Just normal paper is good, but it's quite nice to treat yourself sometimes. So actually, I don't know whether I'll use two pieces or not. So first of all, I think I'm going to halve my piece of paper. Good, so it's looking so far quiet and normal on our chat side. As I said, if any of you came last week, we were taken over a bit, which wasn't too fun. But hopefully, if that happens again, I'll be swifter to remove. I just don't want to instantly remove people, but you have to sometimes. Take a corner and line it up, because it's so lovely how we all chat and can comment to each other. It's been a real community, hasn't it? Over a long period of time, what we've gone through, it's almost hard to believe life before, isn't it? So here we go. Bringing that back, lining it up. That's it. Good strong fold. I know a lot of the kind of more traditional, all sorts of wonderful origami, actually not strong folds, but I've tended to do the strong folds because things, well, for example, rip well, They often line up better, but also actually because of, I think it's a good way to push out a little bit of stress. So I do it more as a relaxation thing. Gonna fold it in half, and often actually things physically don't work that well if you have quite soft folds, unless you really know what you're doing. Yeah, before COVID. There was a world before COVID. Can you believe it? We would never have believed, would we, how life would change. But we've all adapted. And now we probably couldn't adapt easily to just how it was. And of course, there's good aspects to that. Not travelling so much and having to whiz around, and actually how unnecessary a lot of that was. And yet, of course, isolation is not good for us either. And how to adapt to being with people, which I think long term we can't be in complete isolation all the time. It's not healthy either. So it's a hard one, but I hope that we can have good old balance of both, because actually something like this, I mean, how good is this for access? It's just brilliant. Whereas, you know, to go somewhere, certainly for organising events and things, it's such hard work lugging everything around, and how many people can afford to travel somewhere and that kind of thing. So I think it's definitely got a place, events online. So I have made 4. Am I going to make more? Yeah, I'm going to make more squares. I'm just going to make a load of squares first of all. So do join me. Brilliant. So in another square there. Well, we are a special group, yeah. It'll be strange, won't it? One day we may meet in life, and I guess you'll feel that you've seen me because you have lots, but I haven't seen you, so I don't even recognise you. So please say who you are, or it may not be. Yeah, whereas you'll definitely recognise me. That's it. And folding it over. But it really has felt like a group, hasn't it? Asking of each other. Yep, Stephen, we missed you last week. Eric, we missed you the one time you couldn't make it because you're that regular. Actually, Stephen, so are you. And Penny. Well, lots and lots of people. I'm glad it's been a positive thing. It also actually has given me lots and lots of online experience, so it just becomes normal, which is very helpful for then making others feel comfortable, hopefully online, when I run other events. So of course, doing things for my hospital where I work, which all these films are dedicated to. I am wondering how many to do. I might do another. Oh well, Eric. Oh yes, exactly. Thank you so much, Stephen. The magazine looks amazing. I held it up last week, and yeah, we thought of Larry as well. What a beautiful, beautiful painting. Thank you so much. A big thank you to Nick Robinson for creating a diagram of the syringe as well. I hope that can be useful for people. Little bit of fun. There we go. So I'm just making a load of squares. So it's up to you whether you do a flower based on symmetry of 3 or 5. Obviously 3 is quicker. 5 is a little bit more like a crown. I think I will maybe do a 5 one. It's up to you. So if you do a flower of symmetry of 3, which is something like this, then we're going to make 3 pieces for the bud, and then 3 pieces on the outside, but they look as though they're double. When it's the 3, you may find that you can start adding even more layers onto it as well. Oh, hello, Kenneth. Excellent. Welcome. Pleasure. Thank you for coming along. If you're going to do a cactus flower which has got 5, a symmetry of 5, then we're going to make a little bud first of all on the inside. That's 5 pieces. And then we're going to make petals on the outside, which is another 5 pieces. So we'll need 10 pieces if you're doing a symmetry of 5. Excellent. Oh, Thanks for welcoming. Eric's very chatty, which is brilliant. Just what we need for a group. Um, I'm glad you've joined this week, Kenneth. We had a bit of somebody causing mischief last week, but to be expected online. I'm amazed we haven't had that happen a lot more. Actually, we haven't at all, have we? So I'm going to show you a flower with 5, symmetry of 5, because I think it looks quite nice and sort of roundy flower. There we go. Oh dear, slightly wobbly. It doesn't matter. And I've actually rather enjoyed these little rough edges. It's quite nice with the flower. So if we start with 10, if we're going to be ambitious and make a flower with a symmetry of 5, and I'll show you how to fold the unit. It's actually the same unit pretty much as I've used for the complete circle, be for the crown, it'll be for the flower. So I hope you'll find it really relaxing to do. So our first step for this is to first of all fold a diagonal line. So there aren't many folds to this, and we'll do it over again 10 times. It's part of the relaxation, I think, of the modular is the repetition. Of course, it's not quick, but it's to encourage you to take time out. So folding in half, and actually Kenneth, or Ken, has experience of origami as a child and met someone very special who helped set up the British Origami Society. So it's been very wonderful hearing about that. Of course, Paper Magic, Robert Harbin. It's wonderful to hear good things about him. Kind and playful. And Ken, many of the people here are members of the British Origami Society. They're talking there about the magazine. Oh, sorry, I'm just automatically doing this. All you're doing, if you've got 10 little matching squares, is to fold it in half along that diagonal line. Excellent. That's it. I presume, Ken, that you may be watching rather than folding. Challenges of doing things with one hand. It is possible, but it's definitely going to take you more time, isn't it? Right. So maybe, I'll try and chat lots at the same time. Maybe you've folded 10 pieces, or it could be 6 if you're doing a symmetry of 3, but it's purely matching squares for a diagonal line. And next we're going to take one side and we're going to fold it to the middle line. It's going to be the same thing for each piece. So folding it to the middle line, like so. Yeah, I felt much magic in the air recently. I found something quite amazing actually the other day. I don't know, you probably haven't heard of such a thing. I don't know if you've ever heard of a toadstone. Shakespeare wrote about these things, or briefly mentioned them, considered to have magical properties to protect you against the plague. And I keep my eyes peeled on things like paths and gravel for fossils. I love finding fossils. And you can never guarantee that you're going to find such a thing, but you might do. And I found something very special. I'll show you in a moment. Sorry, I'm really distracting, aren't I? So hopefully you've taken the sides, folded it into the middle, like so. And then if you go to the back, the smooth side, and then fold it bottom to the top in half, like so. That's it. And if you turn it round the other side, you can see that nice triangle. And all you're doing is taking that little flap and folding it back. I quite like to leave a little rim there. It's really up to you. There we go. I will show you the toadstone in a minute. This flap, bringing it back. So this what's called a toadstone, it is quite unbelievable. I will show you in a second. A little piece, fold it back, like so. So your little piece hopefully looks a bit like this. Any good? But we'll do it 10 times, so you'll definitely get there. I'm just going to show you the toadstone so you hear what it is I'm talking about. This, look at this. A perfect little shiny stone Very, very round. Can you see? Very round and polished. It looks completely man-made. And on the inside, it's a tuff. It's the tuff of a lepidote, which is an extinct type of fish. They had round teeth. I know, weird. Extinct type of fish in Jurassic time, so around 160 million years old, this tuff. How amazing. And it feels so lovely. It looks absolutely perfectly polished. So in medieval times, they thought that this protected you from the plague. How good. So it's my little magical talisman, I think. So, sorry, back to the paper. So your matching squares, side, we're going to fold it to the middle line. Fossils is another passion. I have to say, it's only really developed under lockdown. Started staring at paths, and it's just kind of rough, like builder's sand that's put down. Yeah, they're not common. I found one other before, but do keep your eyes peeled, but you're not very likely to find them, to be honest. There we go. And then the other side meeting. Anyway, so I've kept an eye out just on paths, and I started spotting fossils. And I spotted another different one, which is very interesting, which turned out actually to be another tooth from an extinct type of shark. And I took a photo and I got in touch with the Natural History Museum in London. And at first was like, I'm not sure it's a fossil. And I took a little film to show, and I helped identify the tooth and explain that what I'm looking at is what's called Oxford clay, very appropriate being in Oxford, although most of it's actually different areas of the country, but it's all from the Jurassic time, from around 160 million years ago. So turn to the smooth side and then top to bottom. Anyway, so I got a bit excited about that. It was a lovely gift, it felt like, from the world. Again, this little flap and bending it back. So brilliant. So yeah, Ken was lucky enough to meet Robert Harbin when he was a child, and so many of us have used his books or watched or know what an inspiring man he was, a magician, and how he really brought origami here in the UK, but I'm sure across the world. There we go. But of course, it's all from Japan. So, but I suppose that maybe that development of creating lots of new things as well. He was obviously creating lots of new things. There we go. So another little unit. Right, I've only done 2 so far. I should concentrate rather than chatting. But I always think of this as nice conversation as well. So I'm taking this side and bringing it to the middle. Oh, yes, exactly. Wonderful experiences. It's funny, isn't it, how much actually over this time that we're probably all looking back to happy memories. For me, actually, I had quite a lot of time in India as a child, and bizarrely in Oxford, lots of the areas of water, and just hearing something like a cockerel really brings me back to that time when I was younger. It's just lovely to have interesting memories, isn't it? And the feelings that come with that. Let's hope we can travel again at some point. I mean, obviously you potentially could, but whether it's a good idea, not a great idea at the moment. So I turn it to the smooth side, top to bottom. And I'm doing this lots of times while just chatting away, turning it round, just flap, folding it back. So the stone I showed you, it's not in any way something like a flint. It's an actual fossil. So it's actually from what looks like kind of clay type soil. So it's fossil rich areas. It would have been at the bottom of the ocean, I guess. You won't necessarily find fossils in. It's got to be the right kind of stone, the right kind of period to have that in there. Kneecap. Oh. Yeah. Again, the diagonal line there. I've got that already. Side to the middle. And yeah, so Ken, we've been doing this for well over a year, I think. Maybe it was end of March or April that I started doing a fold a week. and going live. I was initially going live on a Friday night as well as a Wednesday, and I just went, oh, this is spoiling my Friday night. So you have to look after yourself as well. I think long term, you have to find what can work for you. There we go, turning it to the back. Oh, wow, Penny. Yes, I wish I was looking for more fossil teeth. Definitely, top to bottom. Yeah, this has been pretty much in paths, completely unexpected. And people not looking what's around them. I wonder whether the origami's helped me on the pattern recognition, or whether that's why I enjoy it, because it's all about patterns. Little flaps at the back. Oh, it's modular, so I'm just sort of doing it and chatting, but you are welcome to put in any comments if you need me to explain more. I'm attempting to just chat and show you at the same time. So each time I'm doing this and then folding it back. I've only got 4 so far. I'm going to go for 10 and then we can assemble. That's it. I just love the shape of these. Right, head down and let's do a bit more folding. So again, a square, nice diagonal fold. Take the outside and bring it to the middle. There we go. That side and then the other side to meet that, so it then looks like a little kite. For me, this has all been inspired by a traditional duck, which starts off like this and then turning it plain, top to bottom in half. Yeah, I agree, Money. It's the Wellbeing Wednesday. It's a good kind of midweek pickup. It's funny, it's helped me actually to have a bit of structure as well. Getting that flap. Although I do tend to find that when people ask me to do things, they all want to do things on a Wednesday lunchtime around this time, which obviously I have kept myself committed to this. So I've had to say no, or if you really want me, you'll be flexible and adapt accordingly, because I can't be in more than one place. And then folding back. It is a special time we could all just do as a little pick me up. Next one. Going the top to that middle line. Keep going, folks. Hopefully you're getting the hang of it. Relaxing. And we'll try and put it all together. Oh, thanks, Eric. That's very kind. I'm just glad we're not being bombed by comments like last week. That was a bit much. Because it's so nice how we can chat this way, isn't it? Nice, respectful, kind conversation. It's lovely. And I think, obviously, I wasn't expecting for this period of time to be so long. So I sort of had to, well, I haven't had to, but I just wanted to get inventive myself, which has been good. And it means then I can just give away everything I do, because I really do believe in origami has been passed from one to another out of kindness and care for each other. And so it's nice to give more things, which I'm very happy for people to continue with if they wish or not. Maybe. Yeah, I got in touch. No such person seemed to exist there. So I did try that, Eric. Yeah. It may be that the person had picked up on something on Facebook. Although, I mean, that could happen for anything, because I do events very publicly, honestly. So no, it didn't seem to be. I guess it seemed a bit odd that this person was saying that a lot. So who knows? But I did flag it up and say, such a person can let them know not welcome to be disruptive. Who knows? Who knows? There we go. Folding back. Well, some people may be a bit bored and fed up. We have origami, so we're not, aren't we lucky? The sides and the middle, and friendships too. Kindness between people, not everyone has that, or has had that kind base. So all we can do is our best, but we certainly don't need to put up with bad behaviour from other people. That's it, not welcome. Top to bottom. So anything like that you learn, don't you? I certainly learned that with Zoom quite early on about you need to have a waiting room, you need to make sure you don't share a link publicly. It takes time to learn these things because there are definitely people who will try to cause mischief. If they can do it anonymously, that's can encourage bad behaviour. There we go. Most people are good. There we go. And then folding it back. Oh, yeah. Hopefully, Eric. I don't know. Sometimes it can feel like people have been extra kind. Sometimes I was thoughtless as well. But then it really has been a difficult time. So I think keeping up our empathy is always a good idea. Side to the middle. We can't ever really know how someone else is feeling, but to be honest, we all have a similar need. Well, we all do have the same needs, really, don't we? Kindness, security. Yeah, we don't have these things. Life is hard and we don't always show our best side. Top to bottom, all we can do is try and encourage some niceness. Yes. Oh, there we go. That flap again, holding back. We're almost there. Don't know how you're all getting on. I'm just doing these 10. That should make plenty for a... Oh, did it? Yeah. Sorry to hear that, Penny. That's somebody else. Not good on a group. I've certainly learnt that with Zoom. That it's not... itself as a medium is excellent. You just have to make sure you tick it. I use Eventbrite for any events. I've had no problems that way because people basically have to leave their emails and they're a lot less likely to behave badly then. Side to the middle, it's when something's anonymous and open. A waiting room, and I think to always realise that somebody could behave poorly and you have to react quickly. Hopefully it wasn't too bad last week, but really I think I should have blocked and chucked out that person much faster. I do on Twitter now, actually. I'm good at, if someone's at all weird and creepy, so many men, quite frankly, can try to drop you a comment, oh, hello, gorgeous, what a load of rubbish, disrespectful. I just instantly block them. It's not welcome. It's very disrespectful. Smooth side, why they think that you'd in any way respond to that, I don't understand. No one likes to be treated like an object. Again, the flaps at the back. I can't see that, that interaction would ever work, quite frankly. Anyway, mysteries of people. I suppose it keeps life interesting. Yeah, exactly. Just a person, for goodness sake. Piece of paper, fold back. That's it. Right. I have made 10 little things like this. Don't know about you. How have you all been getting on? Or maybe grab a glug of tea. Oh, I'm still doing a little arrangement here. I've just loved playing with these little shapes. They're so just delicious somehow. They've got lots of potential. Think of all these things as, well, they do look a bit like teeth now. Or a little look at what I'm doing. Having fun there. Excellent. Nearly time for, oh, yes. Right. Let's get on with the building then. Since people are maybe, well done. 6 is fine actually, Marnie, because you could do a bud of 3 and then 3 petals on the outside. So I'd stick to 6. Right. Okay. Yeah. Take care, Adrian. Thank you for coming along. Thank you, Eric. I just feel like you're the helper. So I'm going to take one side of the flap and it's going to go into the middle of the next one. Can you see? So I've got one and I've taken out a little flap. I've slotted it in like so. I rather like this little effect that you get there. So one slotted into the other. And I'm going to do that again with the next one. You'll find out, Imani, whether it will work. So again, the next one, and again, I take out a little flap and I'm going to pop it into the middle there. There we go. And I'm just doing this. I'm going to do this for five ones. It's already looking. So this is like the bud that we were making last week. Again, putting it into the middle. But these are all things for you to play around with. I just love this little overlapping shape. Isn't it nice? So I've just got one more to go for the bud. There we go. Popping that in. So it's like this, and then obviously it needs to go together. So, it's a bit of a balancing act. Definitely would be hard with one hand, I can see that. So this one's kind of a complete one, and this one's a half. So again, I'm gonna take that. Oh, good one, Eric. So this little flat, and it's gonna go into the middle of that. Well, I just think as someone who's very insecure, if they are, I suppose it's about power, isn't it? It's very obvious that maybe a woman is less physically strong. I just think how pathetic. You need to assert yourself that much. Pushing that in, hopefully. Only someone very insecure would. Ah, exactly, Ken. It is about the repetition. It's about how we learn. But if you enjoy it and find it relaxing, hopefully you might have something like this. Look at this lovely inside. Woohoo! That was all I was doing, was putting those little pieces together. Ah, I love your quotes, Ken. Much appreciated. So amazing that we're all chatting across the world. We sometimes, is it someone joins us from Colombia, sometimes from New York, and Ken from America as well. Good way to start the day, I guess. So hopefully you've got a bud. Our next step is to start building petals. Right, how to do this? Oh, and how to do it showing a camera. Right, maybe I'll bring it down a bit so I can see what I'm doing. Okay, so you have got hopefully a nice little bud like this. Now the principle is I'm going to take my petal and I'm going to pull out one of these flaps again, and I'm going to lock it in. Well, I'm going to push it in, and there we go. It's just sort of hinged in there. Right, so I'm going to do that actually for each side. I think, you know what, I think I'm the worst at explaining things that I've come up with myself because I haven't sort of had to follow instructions in the same way. Oh, yes, you're right, Eric. We haven't had Junid from India for a while, have we? India's in a really bad way, and its distancing is just not possible there. It's clearly so much more infective as sadly this mutation, which quite frankly has come from obviously the UK with the Kent variant. Oh, what a nightmare. Yeah, I hope he's okay too. Fingers crossed. So Juna does origami with us regularly too. So I've hinged one in. Now the next, as I said, I feel like I'm not so good at explaining my own one. I'm going to take the next one, again, hinging it. It will only hinge on one side, and then you tuck it into the previous one. Oh, dearie me. I do sound more confusing talking about my own things. Or maybe I should be sticking to other people's folds. And I think I'm going to have to look what I'm doing. But it's basically tucking that in and you're having to be patient with me. I think I'm going to have to be patient with myself on this one. Oh no, I think I've managed to. Oh dear, what am I doing? Put that back in there. Okay. Right, so it's hinged on one side, and then I'm moving along to where you'd expect the next petal to be, which would be, hey, don't do these things live. Again, tucking it in to the next point of a petal, and then this one can tuck. Definitely getting twisted. I think I managed to explain it hopefully a bit better on the video, but basically one can then tuck into the next petal. Oh, dearie me, I'm going to have to take off my jumper. I'm getting right flap here. But that's part of it, isn't it? It's being kind and patient to yourself, knowing you'll get there. And it's the same for me too. Right, so I've done one. Ah! It's just fallen apart. As I said, these are all just through tucking. So you might want to resort to glue. Or you might use a bud of 3. I can't believe how unpolished this is. So sorry, everyone. Oh well, this is live, isn't it? I'm trying to just get my bud back first of all. Are you all attempting to do buds of 5 or 3? I'm thinking maybe 3 is better actually, because this is it's actually stronger. Sorry. Consider this. I'm going to go for 3 now. Since it's fallen apart, I think it's telling me something. But today it should be a 3. But if you think of this as a little unit where you're using your tucks to be able to make and create, right, you can just change it from one to the other. Actually, that looks like a 4. I need glue. Exactly, Penny. It is a challenge, but be playful. Your flower will be unique, and so is mine. So it's again in some way making a bud, and then you can tuck in side bits, and you probably will then we'll go into the next petal if it will stay. I'm going to hold that. Yeah, you do need about 10 fingers. It's great for concentration and patience. So I'm tucking in the next one. And hopefully, maybe, I'm going to curve it round. Need a miracle. Yes. Curve it round and it can tuck into the next one. Yay! You see? It will be unique. Oh dear, how funny. They normally work a little bit more easily, don't they? It is very organic. Wowie. Thanks, folks. You're being very patient and tolerant with me. I don't know what I'm doing with this one. Anyway, it doesn't matter. Again, you can tuck maybe into the next piece. I've clearly made these where I've been completely focused and not really on the teaching side. So maybe Honey's one is a little bit more reliable using glue. I think actually she'd found it pretty difficult. So had then started experimenting, but that was great because she found other ways of doing it. Hopefully when you do start building up extra layers, oh, well done, Penny. Then you can curl back some of these layers. And actually, if you've got different colours there, it will start to look really nice. So, as I said, it's very unique. Here's one I've done earlier. I did manage to do it, so clearly it is possible. But, and then tucking in on one side and then tucking into the next sideways bud. But consider this as it's almost like a good exercise in patience, your creativity, and it really will be unique. They all seem to be different, these flowers. Yeah, here's one with 3, and I found actually when it built up larger, then you'd have potentially it would go from 3 to 4 petals. Yeah, well done, Penny. Love to see what you've made. If you wanted to post it on the Facebook page, if you're up for it, would love to see. Yeah, I'm definitely finding it a struggle to chat and to do this, which just goes to show it's that kind of overload for your brain. But tucking in one side with that slot, bringing it round, and maybe you can then curve it into the slot of the other petal. Again, these things, it's very much finding it in your own hands, really. And it is a challenge. Will it stay together? Will it not? I don't know. But hopefully miracles may happen for you. I hope you've enjoyed that. It's definitely been the least polished. It's probably because I actually practice the least actually with things that I found, because I'm then on to the next one. But I've been creating an awful lot in this time, and I will do my best to share with you, just experimenting and playing and seeing what happens. Most of all, be really kind on yourself, and yeah, yeah, it is nice, isn't it? The light and shadow on this. Hopefully, it feels like a real little flower. You may well want to tuck in a little bit of glue. You can see why. It is possible, but it's definitely requires a lot of patience and focus. So we'll be back next week. Oh, you're welcome, Eric. I'm sure been an amusing spectacle. That's the kind of thing that we need in these times. So next week, hopefully I'll show you a little bit more smoothly. Thanks, Ken. It's so lovely to have you along as well. It's been really lovely chatting with you. So I will share with you this thing I call a square knot, and yeah, and how you can even build that up to make bigger pieces. I rather like making big ones of this. And actually, I have to say, also thinking of Robert Harbin as well, a book which I really love of his, which shows experimenting with a single pattern, kind of a chrysanthemum, which has a similar approach. Let me see if I can grab it. Actually, I'll just show it to you because I love this illustration as well. So this was a book which, very kindly given as an old book from the British Origami Society library, and trying to think of books that could be useful for demonstrating. And I love this. Gorgeous, gorgeous pictures. I'll see if I can find the one I'm thinking of. Ah, here it is. It's just beautiful. Love it. Look at this. Yeah, isn't that wonderful? But I often origami illustrations just completely do my head in, but this I just find incredibly beautiful. How you can experiment with a simple little pattern and go many different directions. So I think it gives a real flavour actually of his playful approach. And a nice little, I think there's some nice little picture of him in there as well. So very much at the heart of origami here. Let's see if I can find it. Sorry, I really don't know where I'm looking. There is a nice picture of him somewhere. Where is it when you want it? No pre-preparation for me, clearly. Oh, it's a lovely book. I'm not going to find it now, but it's really, really lovely. Secrets of Origami. It smells nice, like an old book, but with lovely illustrations. So excellent. So I will see you next week if you're free. Do come and join, and I will also put on a video every week, so it's there. So if this has been way too confusing, which it may well have been this week, you can always go back to the video, which is maybe a little bit calmer. Yeah, so keep well, everybody, and keep looking after yourselves, and wishing you a good week and maybe some good folding or whatever you can do to look after yourselves. So take care. Lovely to have you here all together. Thank you. Bye bye. Bye bye.